that working?
I think so, yes. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, can hear you perfectly. What's up, buddy?
G'day.
Good eye, mate.
I thought, yeah,
That's
nice
my
to meet you.
best Australian. That's my best Australian accent.
No, pretty good.
Yeah, thanks, man. So what's up, man? You were out shooting today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just,
So what'd you get?
it's just like it's like we were discussing before. It's like a beach break, really similar to the Kiki shore break in Hawaii. It's
Yeah, it looked beautiful. I love that wave photography stuff, man.
yeah, thank you. I've just been trying to make myself just get out consistently, and because we're in summer now, and often there's like not like super elite level stuff, but there's still waves that you can get out and just to keep my process fresh.
How'd you uh how'd you get into it originally?
Well, I'm a former world number one ranked bodyboarder in the sport of bodyboarding. I do a thing called drop knee, which is balancing on a bodyboard. Um, so I started doing that when I was about 8. So and I got thrown in the ocean when I was tiny. So we're on the coast here, so I had to sink or swim.
Yeah, did your parents just throw you in or how did that go?
Yeah, dad. I've got a little photo of me somewhere of like my brother just feeding me seawater at the beach. So I think it's
That's
just
amazing.
it's,
That's how I picture Australians growing up. Yeah, I
and
feel like it's the Wild West out there. It's crazy.
because my dad and mum were teachers and dad was a principal, so we were out in remote country towns, and then we had this a holiday house at where I am now at a place called Gracetown. And that was so as soon as school finished, we'd be at the coast. So that's kind of all I knew.
Yeah. When did you originally start surfing? How
When
old
I
were
was
you?
8, 8,
So like 8 on a board full time?
just on a boogie board, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was so scared though. I was so
Is
little.
it just called body surfing and can we just call it surfing? Is that
It's called bodyboarding,
okay?
surfing. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, everything's just wave riding. It,
Right? It's just riding the momentum of the ocean.
and for me, I moved towards a subset in bodyboarding, which is the drop knee, which was really popular when I was coming up. And it was a lot more technical, really hard. So there wasn't as many people that I just liked it because it was challenging.
And did your friends do this? Like was this I mean, is this a community thing? Is this a solo thing?
Some friends did, yeah. I grew up in a fairly big surfing community here, but we got given, as you're a kid, you get given what you're given by your parents, and yeah, that we got given bodyboards. So I was just using what I had and just dealing with with what I had.
Is the surf community like it would like what the American like Hollywood would portray it as just like a bunch of hardcore dudes like they get a cut and they're just like glue it together like just not giving a fuck about anything.
Here it is, yeah. I've seen some really cool stuff, yeah, because like especially if the waves are good and you know that you could get a wave that's like the best wave of your life kind of thing, you're just like, just wrap it up. I'll deal with it later.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude. The surf community in Australia is like a gang you would not want to fuck with. It seems like a bunch of dudes that just like that are extremely hardcore and just
Oh,
get
no,
beat
no.
up
Well,
daily.
they're all blood. Yeah, everyone's all talk.
I just feel
I
like
think
they get
that's
beat up daily by the ocean. That has got to be one of the hardest jobs.
well, I was actually discussing that recently because as I've shifted from being a professional athlete, I didn't realize for a while, but I needed something to keep my adrenaline and scared. So I've been training Muay Thai for about 5 years. And
Oh, that's amazing, man.
the head noise of like potentially getting hit before you do anything is really loud. But then when I'm actually in the sparring and just getting whacked by people who are a lot better than me, um, once I've been whacked, it's really similar to the ocean because I've I've had 2 spinal injuries like from the ocean. So just getting whacked in the sparring I just was talking about this the other day. There's some real big similarities in between the amount of beatings we get in the ocean and then the kind of impacts that I was copying in the sparring.
Interesting. It's, Bruce Lee, "Be like water," right?
I'm not nowhere near that.
Yeah, my daughter does full-time jujitsu. I did Muay Thai for a long time
Oh,
and
great.
yeah, boxing, jujitsu, all that stuff. I think it's super important. I think, not only just, obviously the exercise that you get from it, but, just for the mind, just to be able to get that. I think we all we have ingrained in our DNA to get like this fight feeling out, to just
Yeah.
I mean, we were born as, we were cavemen at one point, like, beating animals for our food, with their own bones. Like we have advanced so much, but I still feel like it is in many humans' DNA where if it gets out and you feel that feeling, there's really nothing like it.
I think too, like, one thing that I wasn't ready for, and I probably before I started didn't understand, I needed the explosive exercise that you have to do in the training and what
Hmm.
that does for your brain. Um, and where you get to I after, as long as you're doing the recovery and you're not doing other things that shift everything out of whack, um, there is, yeah, such huge benefits just from the consistency of doing.
Yeah, mentally too. Yeah, 100%. Um, did you grow up doing that or?
No, I've only just started in I love like, I used to love I still remember when it was, Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, who also passed away. There was a movie
Yep.
called The Crow.
Of course, bro. I grew up with that movie. That
That
was
was
a that
after
was an
that, I was
icon.
enamored with martial arts, but I never went and practiced, and I actually took myself to Thailand to start in 5 years ago now.
That's badass. It wasn't The Crow for me, as funny as it was Karate Kid,
Oh, yeah, yeah, I watched that too, yeah.
right? Karate Kid. It was like, how Back to the Future made skateboarding cool. I feel like Karate Kid did that for karate. I remember, like, walking, like, by like, a local supermarket and seeing, like, a karate studio and just, like, thinking, "Daniel-san," and I gotta learn this shit. So, yeah, that was, like, my first introduction. And of course, karate, as a kid was kind of in general, it was kind of a joke. They would just,
Yeah,
give you belts based on being there for a week or whatever. But yeah, that definitely I think it's a good foundation, especially for kids. I mean, I got my daughter in when she was 6 into Gracie and then eventually moved her to like 10th Planet with no gi. And I mean, I can't think of a better foundation for a kid.
and just being able to, like, if someone grabs you,
Mhm.
like
Yeah, that's I think the most important part is like you'll meet so many, women who are afraid to go down a dark alley or, afraid to,
Yep.
go out alone or do anything. And I mean, my wife tells me all the time, like, she'll tell me about her friends' stories. And it's just like, I don't ever want my daughter to have that story. So I thought like the most important thing, in her life was like getting that foundation, like learning boxing, jujitsu, and Muay Thai, because I don't ever want to be afraid of walking down a dark alley. I think that's like one of the most important things is like a father you can give your kid is giving them the confidence to be able to kind of do whatever
Yeah.
they want.
I've had my ass whooped by a woman in sparring.
The same.
Like, where I go to in Thailand, like, the ladies there are
Those
all
women are
oh,
tough.
man, it's insane. It's, like,
Yeah, you
amazing
don't
fitness,
you do not wanna pick a fight with a woman who knows Muay Thai. You will end up with elbows in your eyeballs.
and their technique too is just so graceful and
Proficient.
flawless. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
really cool.
They're
Yeah.
proficient.
Yeah, I've always really been a big advocate of women in sport and just women getting out and having that, like you said, just being able to walk down a dark alley and not be fearing that some
Yeah.
man's
No.
gonna jump out and
I couldn't agree more, man. When you, so before you got into, all this Muay Thai stuff and what was the scene like, the body surfing, bodyboarding scene? I mean, when did you start? Early 90s, late 90s? Like, kinda just walk me through this.
I would have started, um, that would have been in the '80s, really. I'm
Oh,
44 now.
okay.
Um, yeah, so I was born in '81, so I would have started in '89, I think. Um,
That's about accurate. Yeah. 8
that was
years.
right around the time when I guess it just took off, and then by the time I was coming into being at a professional level, it was probably at its peak, and then as I started to getting to the top of, like, the sport, it was just declining rapidly.
Yeah.
Um, so for a while there, it was really, really popular. Sport just boomed. It was a lot of surfing brands jumped in and were involved with the sport. And then surfing kind of took off in its own right, and a lot of them left because they had to start paying their top surfing athletes a lot more. And then that, I think, kind of the sport wasn't ready for the exodus of support, and it wasn't. It almost had to do the same thing that skating did, where when skating almost died out, or the crew came in and started their own skate brands, and the skaters have rebuilt the sport back to where it is. Um, so it had to do that for a bit, and then there's been some what I would say is silly decisions, and just not understanding of what marketing needs to be done for bodyboarding as a product.
Yeah, it kinda sounds like the, NFT scene a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. There's that. I've actually said I was having this conversation with Batsuk Yum.
Yeah, yeah, love that guy.
Um, yeah, in that I see a lot of really big similarities in the slip and the slip that happened with ours, and a lot of it was could have been avoided if people worked together a bit more.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Um, what got you into photography? Well, I know you said you kinda had to, like, find something, um, outside of, uh outside of bodyboarding, but what drove you towards that?
I was always mucking around with cameras,
Okay,
even like whenever I'd go and travel to compete, or I always, even around the house, I found a little disposable, and I just was just enamored with creativity, I think, and I was just always messing around. And then I went to school I've got an architecture degree. I studied at university.
okay.
During that time, I did the architecture degree while I was world number one, and then kind of taught myself photography along the way because both seemed to intertwine. I was more enamored with architecture photography and landscape photography in the beginning because I was a professional athlete. I was always in the ocean. I didn't have the equipment to be in the ocean. And then, yes, I did good 4 years of landscape photography, just frothing out, going anywhere I could with my camera and tripod. Um, and then I hurt my neck really bad. The first, I've done it twice, but I injured myself while I was making a film, and yeah, I just come back from, because there's no traction on the board. It's really easy to slip off, and especially in big waves, if I come off, I always seem to, and especially if I needed to eject myself while I'm on a wave, so I'm in a big barrel and I need to jump off, I kept like landing on my neck and ended up with some damage to my spinal column. And then when I couldn't surf and I was studying architecture, I was in my last couple of years of that. Um, I just needed that connection to the ocean, and because one of my friends had a housing that fit my camera, and I just kind of stole it off him, and he wasn't using it, and it was kind of warped. He's like, "This can fail if it fails." And yeah, just from there, as soon as I got into the ocean with my understanding of waves, and I'd always, when I'm bodyboarding, I'd hang inside the barrel when I'm duck diving through. I'd just sit in, just looking to see it the last second. And so once I combined a camera with that, it was pretty much instant. I was just like, oh, these are these moments that I would see while I'm, you know, duck diving through waves. And then all of a sudden I had the thing that could document them and create a memory.
It sounds almost like you're getting the same gratification, from shooting them as you are from riding them.
Yeah, well, I used to notice because I really used when you're bodyboarding, you're out in the water for hours. So if you had to duck dive through a wave, you'd muck around and try and like hang in there for as long as possible and let it and just be watching. And I noticed something that when I punched through the back of a wave and popped out the other side, the last frame that I would see was burnt in my brain. And
That's
my
cool.
eyes were open, but I could still see it. It was just like that last frame. So then put a camera in my hands and yeah, I was just like, "Oh, this is everything." Sorry.
And what was it about it that, made you wanna actually, like, turn this into an art form? Like, was there someone who said, like, "Hey, man, you should try to sell these," or how did it kinda go from there?
Even when this will probably sound silly to say, but even in those first 4 years, um, before I even got close to getting in the ocean, whenever I was trying to take a photo, in the back of my head, I was like, this is art. I'm trying to be intentional. Even if I was doing stuff handheld, I was trying to create art with every click, kind of. So I guess that was always this little challenge. I never really had anyone say, no, you can't sell. I kind of had the opposite. People just going, you're not good enough. Uh,
Yeah, right.
um, so yeah, I just kept going. And I guess there was some life events that were really challenging, and then photography became that escape, that thing that kept me going, gave me the ability to get out into nature and be creative at the same time. Um, yeah, so it's gone through heaps of different phases, I guess, realistically.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I mean, I think going from like extreme sport of, number one bodyboarder to, photographer, it is an extreme difference because now one requires patience, where the other one just kind of like required extreme full throttle, jump in, fuck it kind of vibes.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, the patience bit is probably that was the one of the hardest things. In Once I got into the ocean, though, you're back in that really dynamic environment where everything's kind of chaotic anyway,
Yeah.
and then you're looking for those split second moments. So it's yeah, it's almost there's a lot of similarities between the surfing and the shooting, I guess.
Yeah. How many years were you professionally surfing for? I don't know if you said that or not.
I'd have preferred because our sport, like they pretty much just shunned my way of riding from support. Even when I was world number one, I couldn't even get a sponsor.
It's wild.
I just did everything. And it was because drop knee was this different way of riding. It was less functional, way harder. You can't do as much because you're trying to balance on a board, but its uniqueness was what made it cool. And the sport, that was one of the things I was talking about. They just forgot about all these different aspects of the sport because they were really focused on the elite level um, aspect of riding on your stomach and being able to charge 20-foot waves. And um, yeah, it's kind of forgotten what the question was there.
No, no. What was the scene like back then? So if it wasn't like, they didn't consider it as one of like the elite, like professional sports, well, how did the tournaments work? What was the scene like? Who put it all together?
I think probably because I came into my, into my prime when everything was declining.
Yeah.
And like in the 90s and 2000s, there were some professional riders that really pushed the limits of the guys that I looked up to. They took it to its functional level, I guess. I took it a little bit further. Um, but it's only you need like when you're trying to do stuff and balance and it was a lot harder. I guess the scene they just lost sight of the diversity of the sport. So I would have people just kind of writing me off for trying um, instead of going, "Oh, that good effort." So in that regard, looking back now, I can speak with hindsight. I don't have to mince my words if I don't want to. I would say it just wasn't respected, and you didn't get respect until you were gone.
What who was putting on these tournaments? Was it just like OGs of the sport kinda, like, throwing these together? Where were most of
Oh
them?
no, no. So there was a say the same as the WSL, which is the World Surf League. There was the
Yeah,
IPA. There were kind of set up organisations that were running everything.
okay.
Yeah, it's just that, yeah, we weren't a priority because there's people that ride bodyboards standing on them as well. That's part of the sport that got forgotten
I didn't even
about.
know that was a
Women
thing.
didn't get any. Yeah, it's like they were focused on the prone riding on your stomach, which is
Yep.
fair because that's where the majority of the people were. That's probably where the majority of the revolving funds in the sport were. Um, you just from my perspective, I was just going through it and trying to compete as best I could as an athlete. Yeah, I don't know. It was still the people that were and the people that were putting on the events, like they were working their ass off. You can't. It's a hard one for me to sit here and be super critical because there were people in there that were working as hard as they could to make it as good as they could within their scope and budgets and all that.
Is there still a scene? Does it
Nah,
still exist? It's just gone.
yeah. There is like a dwindling of a scene, um,
Yeah,
but uh, with certain lack of hindsight or foresight, certain markets that can allow sustainable cash flow to revolve around in the sport were just lost, like the
yeah.
beginner market. You know, all the boards at Costco or things like that. Though they don't provide anything back into the development of bodyboarding. They just the money's just kind of not it's not circulating well. Um, so I mean, I'm not young anymore, so being involved at such a high level, I do have a fairly good understanding of why things are where they're at.
Do you see, a community ever forming again and actually putting this together?
Oh,
Because it
yeah, the
sounds like it was
community's
something
still
that was
there.
incredible.
The
Yeah,
athletes are still there.
okay.
Everyone's still there. It's just that there's just no pathway for success
There's no
other
one
than
putting it together.
nah, but everyone's still trying.
Sounds like they need a leader, Kim.
We need a billionaire more than we need a leader.
We need a billionaire.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
surfing's got in a gentleman named Dirk Ziff because the to put the events on, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't
imagine.
think the World Surf League is running at a profit with those events at all. It's for our benefit as a viewer. So I did get to have that understanding, and because I was at that level, and I used to be good friends with the manager Alex Leon,
Mm.
and I used to be privy to he was the guy that we should have kept. He he could have been the Dana White of bodyboarding, pretty much.
Yeah, I just feel like there's definitely something still there. It's unfortunate. Is there like, is there like YouTube videos or anything for people to look at, what you used to do?
Yeah, yep. I actually I guess architecture and photography had been I just gravitated and pretty much learnt a lot of the Adobe suite, so I know how to edit my own videos, and I made a couple of films.
No way.
So there's one called In Between, and then there's one called Thanks, which are both on YouTube. The Thanks one is the latest one. Is pretty much like thanks, I'm out. I don't think people understood that.
I quit. I'm retired.
Yeah, um, and that chronicles my last kind of 5 years of both
Yeah.
photography and bodyboarding. So there's actually a bit of everything in there. Some of the because a lot of the times when I'm got my housing out, I can run a GoPro on the top. So there's a little bit of footage that I've shot, as well as bits and pieces of landscape stuff that I've shot over the years, as well as working with a couple of my friends who are. That's the other thing too. Some of my peers and friends, like close friends, our group, they're some of the best videographers and photographers on the planet. So I was able to apprentice under people. I was able to just bug the crap out of my friends to whenever I got stuck with something. So it's really helped with my learning.
And then, so walk me through this. So, because I met you through, the NFT community and through crypto and all that.
Yep.
Um, so pandemic happens, world shuts down. Most of us photographers now have no income. We can't even really go outside and create because everything's just literally shut off.
Yep.
So you dive into crypto NFTs. Walk me through how this all goes.
So I met a friend at the place I went to train Muay Thai at in Thailand. He was a boxer from Melbourne, and I come home from there. I literally got home the day that they announced it. Like I got home from Thailand. I probably copped it over there because I got sick 3 weeks before I got home.
Oh man.
That's their number one tourist is from that zone.
Yeah, you could have gotten stuck there.
And then everything started coming out, and yeah. So Jordan, my mate, was like, "In
Jordan Hammond.
oh no, he's actually not in any of the scene. He was just
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I remember him. I remember quizzing him about. I was like, "What about the energy that it takes?" And he's just wrote me off so hard. Just like, mate, and how much energy a bank uses. And so after that, I was like, okay. As soon as I came in to the scene here, I was astounded at everyone like yourself who was here and the level of incredible art works and artists and stuff I was around. I was just like, wow, this is because I even in the surfing industry, I probably need to round out the bit in between because I went into surf photography. I went, I was in my final year of architecture and I got asked to shoot for a magazine called Surfer Magazine from the US. I was
Okay.
shooting two gentlemen from Hawaii, the Manise brothers, and they came over here. And so I pretty much left. I was in the first week of my master's of architecture and I just nipped down to do a couple of weeks shooting. I did really well. And then a couple of months later, I was staring at the Surfer Magazine cover um, that was kind of this. I ended up deferring architecture and just going into the photography because I felt I wanted to be closer to the ocean at that point in time. And yeah, that kind of the surf industry, much like the bodyboarding industry, is not as glamorous as it looks. I used to get my work just ripped off. I had some of the biggest brands on the planet just try and run it over. They'll just work you over if you're a new photographer and they know what they're doing. They just try and really belittle your work and just I found it everything that I was doing was just either being stolen and used on social media or just really devalued. So by the time I came into the NFT space, I was like, wow, like this is it. This is the place where my work is viewed as art. This is the opportunity to have some value for for my work um and I actually found a couple of people that understood how kind of crazy it is what we go and do in the ocean with a camera. And yeah, since then, I'm just extremely grateful to those people who in the early days saw some value in what I do. One of them's changed my life.
What was it about NFTs that made you want to start minting your work?
Well, I've never actually sold any of my work. Like I wasn't. I tried a few times to start. Um, but just the mass production of stuff doesn't interest me that much.
Mhm.
And then the idea of a one of a kind artwork, I find I was like, this is epic. People, I'm gonna know that this person, only this person has that. That for me was kind of the thing that I
Uh,
love the most, I think.
yeah, that was the selling point.
And I know, even though I haven't mass marketed any of these works, so I knew that from the get go, and so that's kind of why I've stayed. I haven't actually branched out into prints or anything. I've just stuck with this.
So you've never done anything outside of MTs, like no print, no prints, no calendars,
Um,
books, anything like that?
I've tried. I'm trying. I've got a book that I'm working on now of the first 100 of the Huzzers. Um, I've done little bits and pieces, but nothing serious. I did last year. I actually managed a really high end gallery here that was at a winery, and I did put 3 prints up in there, but they weren't surf stuff. It was just some wildflowers, and I like shooting wildflowers as well.
Shooting flowers is relaxing.
Yeah, I find it.
It is. There's something like, is meditative a word? I hope it is. If it is, I'm using it. Meditative. It's very like just relaxing. It's just there's definitely something about it that just kind of like takes you out of the element. Unlike like when you're trying to like shoot a sunset or a wave or anything like you can imagine, it's like a sunset. The stress is on. You have to get it perfect. If you miss the shot, you feel guilty. There's so many aspects to it where flowers are just flowers, man.
So, when you were shooting a sunset, did you find that golden hour, you little bit like running around like a headless chicken almost?
Yes and no. Because I use filters, it's a constant changing of my environment. So I have to consistently modify my environment to get that moment just right. So it's it's like very stressful in the sense that like I do feel like you're moving just like
Or
at in a
there's that,
race
yeah, there's
car.
that pressure to
Yeah, it's like a race car type speed almost where if you make any
control it.
wrong movements, you're gonna crash your car and you're just gonna ruin your shot. So, yeah, it's all about getting to that right moment because, like, as you know, like sunsets, especially like West Coast, middle of winter, you're gonna get maybe 5 minutes of your sunset, 10 minutes, and then that's it. It's over. So you gotta be on it and quick. Where it was interesting, like when I was in the Middle East shooting, those sunsets would last like 2 hours, and I could just sit there and just shoot, and there's no pressure. It's an interesting. It's almost based on environment.
Yeah, wow. 'Cause I
Yeah,
did feel when I was trying to, like, shoot sunsets and stuff, I just put it down to me being a basket case, but I felt like that pressure that in that, and I was just like, just all
it's a
over,
lot.
like,
It's a lot, man, and you want to get it because you only have that increment, that window, and those moments, and you have to have everything set up. So it's like you'll set up 3 or 4 hours before the shot. You have everything there, and you're balancing out filters. It's just yeah, the pressure is definitely it can overwhelm you, but it's cool. I think that's what's like fun about it. I don't think most people realize that it's that it actually that there it's like sports photography or anything where if you don't catch that moment and someone else did, or you feel guilty because it's like is that ever going to happen again?
mm. That's
It's
what
like a
the
wave.
that's yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It's like, you've just gotta be hope that everything's there and you've done all your stuff correct and you're ready for that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think AI will make that probably a lot easier for us, where it'll probably like just put in the settings for us to just have everything ready, which I'm not going to complain about one single bit because that'll just make my job like less stressful and I can actually enjoy it. But at the same time, like I do love just sitting there and adding up the filters and figuring everything out in my head.
I reckon you'd have to be at the level now where you can just look at something and go, "This is what I need," on your camera.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that's like it's funny because like when you first started, I'm sure it's the same thing with you. Like when you first start, it's like you can kind of visualize what you want, but you're not exactly sure what the outcome's going to be. until you actually shoot it, where now, for doing this almost 20 years, I'm like, I can see the clouds, I can see it, and I'm like, dude, this would look so sick with like a .3 grad filter, polarizer, like this is that you can usually do the math right away, but it's still things can change very quickly and you're not 100% sure. Clouds can shift, anything can happen. So you are constantly doing the math, even when you have done it 100 times, you're just still just balancing everything out, test shot after test shot, because you do three or 400 shots before you get that final shot. It's a lot, man. And they're long exposures too. So, you're doing like, sometimes 9, 10 minute long exposure of a sunset to
Yep.
get every single color absorbed into the camera. And you don't want to fuck that up because that can, like, you got one shot at that. It's a fun game. I'm sure it's the same with waves though. It's very similar, I'm sure.
I
Like sniping
reckon
out the right
there's,
wave.
like, some differences in everyone's brain too, because you sound like one of my good friends who's one of my favorite photographers, and he's so calculated. Everything is like, even when we're shooting waves, he's like, "Oh, I had this there." He sees stuff going on, and my brain's like, "I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just doing."
Yeah, I to be honest, I could not pass like a camera test. Like if you sat a camera test down in front of me of like how it's built or anything about it, I would fail it miserably. But I do know like the OG system of like the zoning system, just how to like, technically operate that portion of shooting landscapes. But dude, when it comes to like actually understanding the intricacies of a camera, like I remember I had this intern when I had my gallery in the stratosphere, and she was working under me, and she like brought in one of her tests from like her class, and it was all about photography, and she's just like, hey, can you help me with this? And we did it together, and she like brought it back, and she's like, I got a 50%, douchebag. It's like you're supposed to be some kind of like master photographer with a gallery, and I got a 50%. Failed my intern. Sorry about that, Elizabeth.
How
But
did you? I'd love to know about all the galleries and stuff. They looked epic. Have you still got them? Are they?
I shut those down when pandemic was really getting hard. I mean, when you're paying a fortune in rent
Yeah.
and nobody's coming in anymore. And honestly, like, not that the gallery model is dead, although I do feel it is somewhat dead. Mall model is dead. The shopping model is dead. It's very hard to get people into a gallery and then get them to make a decision. I thought casinos, this was 2008. I thought casinos would be, is it 2008? No, no, way off. Hold on. 2012 to 2012, 2013, right around there. I thought the casino model made sense because in my mind, you got wealthy people walking through casinos. You have, drunk, intoxicated gamblers who have made a fortune. Anyone can walk in there and look at a $3,000 picture and say, well, the market's there. The people are there, but it is very hard to drive people into a gallery. It's hard to make the sales, especially if you're not selling them based on investments. So you're selling them just based on art only, not saying, this will be worth this in this many years. So you should buy it now before it's too late kind of thing. So you're actually like trying to do it with some integrity. It's not an easy playing field. You're playing the Lance Armstrong game, everyone's on steroids. So you should be too kind of thing. You have to kind of play dirty, unfortunately, in that game, or you're not going to fail, but you're not going to kill it. You're not going to thrive. So it's a hard game, man. And I think I got in probably maybe too early. I mean, I was 27 when I opened my first gallery. I was very impatient. I had just started photography, like in 2008. So I had only been shooting 5 years. But in my mind, I needed a gallery because one person bought my print. And that sparked something in my head that said, wait, I can sell this stuff? Well, I need a gallery to do that. So yeah, I think it was a lot of mistakes, man. A lot of things learned, but I'm glad I did it. Like a lot of lessons learned, a lot of money wasted, a lot of investors that I had to pay back, a lot of shit, but it was worth it. A lot of fun.
I was, because that was this time last year. I was managing a that's just down the road. It's at a really famous winery, and it's But I noticed very similar to what you just spoke of in, I guess, a slightly different dynamic, but, like, the people that were coming in, they were just coming in to look at art. They weren't necessarily specifically there to buy art, and that kind of a way trying to sell people to stuff that is just looking as was really not the business model that was, um and then it seemed like you just need to be repetitively doing events and,
Yep.
yeah,
A lot of
I think
events.
the people that I was working for, I think they've, shifted their way out of that just for that reason that the model just was not financially viable.
Yeah, it just isn't really sustainable as it used to be, and, like, don't get me wrong, I think if you're in the right market, like, you have a gallery in Aspen or something,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna be just fine, you know? You have a gallery right on, the art district in Miami, but at the same time, like, there are a lot of galleries just going out of business left and right that are in the art district in Miami, so I think it's a it's interesting, and I don't know what it's transitioning into. Maybe this is the ultimate transition into digital art. Maybe the gallery model closes and digital art thrives from here. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. All I know is like when I was doing it and running my own galleries, and look, I'm not going to say that I'm proficient in running a business, but I did run it with people who did understand business, who investors who seemed to understand what they were doing. I mean, they had run multi-million dollar companies, billion dollar companies, and they strategized and we worked together. We spent lots of money on marketing, PR. I mean, we were spending 20 to $30,000 a month on PR stuff just to try to get the word out. And it just I'd say it's the art. I'd love to go with it's just the art. The art sucked and but it's not necessarily just the art. I think it's a hard market and and you have to find where you can thrive. And again, like if I had done everything in Aspen, maybe things would be different. I don't know, but what I do know is that it took so much time, dude. It took so much time out of my life.
Yeah.
I wasn't shooting anymore because I was selling cameras to keep my gallery open. I wasn't doing what I love anymore. I was watching people walk into my gallery, take a picture with their iPhone and say, "Why is this $5,000? I could shoot with this with my camera, with my phone. Fuck this guy." And as much as we don't need people to validate us, it's demeaning. It starts to like really hit you at your core. I mean, this is your when people walk in your gallery. I don't think people understand, but as someone who like when you're sitting in your own gallery and people walk in, they're walking into your brain, they're walking into your memories, they're walking into
Your heart
your
on the wall, pretty much.
yeah, man. It's your art, it's your memories, it's your love. I mean, dude, all these photos that are on this wall are because of something that I went through at some moment in my life. And that's the reason that that photo was taken. Everything has a story in my life. So when you walk through and you say, fuck this photo, or I could do this with my camera, or this is oversaturated, commercialized shit, it it hits you, man. And so I think that consistently happening for God, years, because sometimes I'm running my own gallery because it's hard to find employees that you can trust, which is another thing. It's like you're taking the business side of your
Yes.
passion and you're trying to find employees that represent it. It's so hard. And the only people you trust is yourself. So you're going through the motion, man. I mean, I slept in that fucking thing. I slept in that gallery. I would wake up and open it again and just day after day. And then it just kind of just beat me down. So when the pandemic happened, it was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me in all of my photography career because it made me reevaluate everything I was doing. And I just stopped. I just stopped and just closed the galleries and just I know this is like such a long-winded answer to do you still have your galleries open?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that no, they aren't, man. And it's because of the pandemic and thank God. Thank you, Bill Gates. Epstein didn't kill himself.
The world is getting
Yeah.
so crazy right now. Even
Because the
just
world is crazy.
it's crazy.
World is a crazy place right now. I can't go on X without just like feeling some type of like I'm not doing enough. I'm not making enough apps. I'm not vibe coding enough. I'm not taking enough photos. It's just like, dude, the amount of FOMO that I get from the app, and I sold all my crypto in October, so I'm not even like trading. I'm just like trying to build.
So, were you doing a lot of, meme coin trading? What is that what
Yeah,
you were doing for a while?
heavy. Yeah, I was dirt filthy in the trenches, man. I got in the trenches like maybe 2 or 3 years ago when someone sent me Bowden, actually JN Silva. Jay and Silva sent me the Bowden chart when it was at like, I don't know if you remember this, but it was like the beginning of the meme coin cycle, like the craziest amount of meme coin cycle. It was really cheap. He sent it to me, and I just was like, oh God, this is like a beginning of the NFT season, but in meme coins. So yeah, I dove in deep. And it was like, I didn't leave my house for like a good year. I just traded nonstop.
Did well?
Yeah, I did okay. Lost some money here and there, but I did okay. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And then, right before the big crash happened in October, I sold like, my punk and everything and all my crypto and just everything. It just felt like it was time. I was tired. I was
Yep.
exhausted from the market. I was exhausted from waiting for this bull market that felt like it was never going to come. So yeah, just exited.
Yep.
What about you, man? You still holding? Do you have any? Are you deep into crypto? You're not really even that deep, right?
No, I
Yeah.
almost had a little look, in 2024 just as, but yeah, no, I don't. I just everything's Australia's gotten, extremely inflated. I'm assuming it's fairly similar in the US, but,
Oh yeah.
it's gnarly here. Um, they don't want anyone to be successful or get ahead at all. It's
Yeah.
pretty confusing how this country can export trillions upon trillions of natural resources, and the there's like outrageous housing shortage, inflation, everything. It's just radical how much everything costs here now. Um, it's, and they're like, we all get, are copping it, and these companies that are coming in and pillaging the earth here and profiting from it pay zero tax. It's so baffling.
Tell me more about this.
So if you can go and look at all these, there's heaps of people clicking out online about what Australia's doing in terms of, um, well, I mean, even say right now, like I'm renting a house, this could get take, could it could get ripped under from out. They could sell a house, I'd be in no man's land. But the government's letting in like 2 million people a year here for the last 3 years, and it's going to continue. But there's like a nationwide housing shortage for everyone. There's not
Why are
enough
they doing that?
homes. It only seems like they're just trying to create pressure. Um, they'll put kind of excuses towards that these people are going to come and offset the workforce in certain areas. But with how much everything costs, the the challenges and all the restrictions that they keep kind of putting in on this, that, and the other, alongside the cost of living, it just it's like they're just trying to piss everyone off because they can.
I have a friend out there. I don't know if you know who Mel is. She's in crypto. She's put a bunch of protocols together. Just an absolute, genius in crypto. I love her. She's been sending me links and like telling me like what's going on. Like they're gonna, you're gonna start have to like verify and to use social media. Can you kind of like go into any of that? Like what's going on with that? Just like arrest you for like posting or is there anything like that you've seen or
Well, I stopped doing. I don't go on Facebook or Instagram,
you
which
just
is
stay
my
away?
detriment. I just even struggle with Twitter. Um, so I'm not super up to date, but yeah, here in Western Australia, it's still okay-ish, but they just use certain events as excuses to impose more restrictions. That they've just, and a lot, with I don't even want to really go because there's certain tragedies and stuff like that have happened, but like if you go and look at who these people are that like that they knew all these people that are doing all this stuff that sets up the community to be outraged, and
Yeah,
then
it
that
seems like
so that outrage then leads to people not controlling their emotions
mhm.
and then acting out, and then the government goes, well, you're doing all this, here's some restrictions.
It feels like we're an ant farm and they're just shaking us up.
Yep.
a lot
I think
lately.
it's I think it's globally.
You think
Yeah.
it's global, huh? Globalists?
Oh, gee, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, but I know.
We should let's go down the conspiracy theory road.
Oh, I've run out of all of them. Got none left. They all come true.
It's a crazy time, man. Everything that's coming true on Twitter, everything that's happening, that we were always told is conspiracy theories. At this point, man, I'd believe anything. Everything is moving so fast. At this point, you could tell me that Tom Hanks is a vampire, and
Oh,
probably believe it at this
we
point.
need some aliens. That's what we need.
Yeah, but didn't they confirm that, and nobody gave a fuck?
Yeah, but like actual, just them come down and be like, all right, guys,
Yeah,
enough. They're
enough of
probably
this
up
shit.
there just sitting there going, "Bro, we cooked this."
Yeah, I think like they look down on us. Like imagine as an alien, I would look down on this and be like, I'm probably not going to go down there anytime soon. Probably just going to wait this out and see how it pans out because it just seems pretty unsafe right now, guys. Let's just wait it out. I'm not going to be any part of this shit. It's like walking into the lion's den.
I try to keep myself out of the rabbit holes, but apparently I have a level of intelligence and I'm just watching everything. I'm just scratching my head.
Kind of crazy. It's unfolding exactly how a lot of these people that were crazy conspiracists said it would.
Yeah. I
It's fun
guess
though.
I guess there's ways to look at it in terms of, because it's easy for that to affect your headspace, but
Totally.
you could also use it as motivation to step yourself towards a way of living that's as kind of free and easy as you can.
Yeah, I think that's what the pandemic did for me, especially. I'm not going to say that I always trusted my government. There was never, but I definitely like I had some trust. Like I thought they were doing some cool shit. I didn't know, but
I
after the pandemic, I didn't trust anything. Like it really that changed a lot of how I was looking at the world because in understanding what was happening. And that's why when I found crypto during the pandemic, I had, the first week I was like, oh, this is a great way for everyone to make a bunch of money. But then I started like understanding the technology side and the decentralization side. And I was like, this is really important that we have a decentralized money, a currency that, that is not controlled by the government or controlled by any central entity. So that's what I saw was at least the benefits of crypto. And that's why I kind of like started going down every rabbit hole and just not really believing in much of what we were being told.
Yeah, well, at one point, I don't drink alcohol. I'm not. At one point, I couldn't buy food here because all the shops had alcohol in them, and they said you needed that stuff to go into, just to go in the building.
What?
Yep. At that point, I was like, we're done here, government.
Wait, so go into
I,
detail
I,
with
I
that.
refused everything. I didn't do anything, but
That's insane.
I took my health serious, and I still do. But yeah, I literally couldn't buy food, couldn't go in there
Wow.
because they prioritized something that's poison for a human immune system.
Yeah, it's like if you're not vaccinated, you can't enter.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that forge theirs. Not going to say that I did that.
No, I would I would suggest that certain decisions that I'd made, a decade ago to be where I am now. I'm in the country. There's only 150 houses in in the little bay that I live in.
Mhm.
Um, in that regard, I was probably in one of the better places to be during that time because I was still able to get outside and yeah, I was there's a lot of space here.
Do you plan on leaving Australia?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not. I really love the land and the place, the landscape, even the people. It's a beautiful place. It's just been run into the ground.
Yeah, it's
That's
hard
the
when that
hard bit
happens.
is to watch and just to almost be at the mercy when because you're not a billionaire, so you can't just go and do what you want. Um, I guess you still have to exist within whatever system exists.
Yeah, The Matrix.
Yeah. That was a documentary. That's crazy. The Matrix, it was a documentary.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, "Well, really, there is a documentary?"
No,
Because I
it's like there's a bunch of movies that have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Of course.
It's a documentary. We're here.
Yeah, I get it now, yeah. I couldn't agree more. At this point, I don't disagree with that. It was funny when I first thought when I first saw The Matrix, I thought to myself, "What a great fictional story." I showed my daughter The Matrix, and it was funny. She goes, "Is this real?" It's funny how much generations have changed and don't believe in their surroundings as much as we used to. And when you actually go down the dark hole of simulation theory, you're like, okay, it makes a good chance that out of infinity, we might be
Yeah.
the original simulation, like it's one out of infinity.
I guess all of this stuff just is motivating me more towards areas where I can kind of be out in nature. And
Right.
that's where I guess what you're seeing now is where my art's gone because that's just what I've done. I've sought out those places that I know that there's things that I would like to try and document for one, but a lot of these places are fairly remote. Even being out in the ocean, it's remote in a sense. It's not really typically not having mass amounts of people around you out there.
Yeah. There's something about landscape photography where the trees don't talk back and
The
it's kind of
thing is,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. The waves don't talk back. Do you have anything planned, like any trips or any projects
Um,
other than the book that you're working on?
I'm just working on the huzzas. Everything that I tag is huzzas. I've got built a website. I was almost transitioned into. I'm still just stuck with the mass production side of things. I love to put my art onto things, onto apparel, clothing, whatever. And I taught myself how to do the print on demand side of things and how to just build website on Shopify. So I've set all that up.
Yeah, where's the Kim Feast bodyboards?
Nah, I won't do that.
Never.
And I had to actually kind of been a bit of challenging that one, just knowing what my experience was in the sport and in trying to push it as hard as I could, and not, I guess, not receiving the same support that I was watching others get. It got to a point where it's as you get older and older, you can't keep putting your time and energy to it, and then to watch everything dwindle and decline. I think that's where Muay Thai has been great. It's given me that break, and I've been able to find the exercise so that I could just slowly work my way out. Just because I love it, bodyboarding so much, it was just I was too close to it. So
It's
um,
funny, I think a lot of people could probably resonate with that. Uh, it's a burnout, it's when
yeah,
you put everything into it, and I think, like, to go back even to, like, the crypto NFT community and the art community, it's happened a lot in the NFTs where you'll see, like, someone post, "Still here," to those who aren't still here or whatever, like, fuck them, and it's like, it's a toxic environment out there, guys. It's not easy for artists to survive in this environment, and on top of that, there's a lot of FOMO, a lot of mental health. Uh, Creators should be creating, like, if they're not out there tweeting, they're not out there living in that space, and it's like, it's a hard space to build in, and I think, like, there was so many people that, um, tried to put together communities, build communities, put things together, put galleries together, and they just got burnt out because there was just everybody wanted to take, take, take. Everybody wanted something for themselves. And it's just a consistent selfish mentality where, you'll see it's just constantly posting about themselves, posting about their own shit, never really looking into how they can help others, help the community. Because it's like, you understand that if the community doesn't thrive, you can't sell anything and you can't thrive and you can just move on to your next, you know, grift or whatever. But these people who actually believed in it, they're still stuck there with the aftermath of trying to build it. I think that happened in this space, especially.
yeah. Well, I mean, I burnt my brain out at the start from being online too much. I think, yeah, because like that's a really interesting point because as you say that, I could only sit there, and even with all the bodyboarding stuff, I like to be. I've been working really hard not to, I chose to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I needed to step away from it and I struggled with all that stuff, I still chose that path. So I have to accept that. I just needed to come to terms with everything as it is. And I think same with the NFT side of things. But then, like you were just saying, that take side of things from the artist perspective when you're coming into such a new environment, um, maybe everyone's not getting the right mentoring on how to do everything, and some people struggle with social media. They're introverted. I could see times where I would have been in that category where it's just you're not delivering enough, not leading, just
Yeah.
taking.
I was a newly onboarded artist entering this community. I would leave as fast as I showed up. It's disgusting. It's toxic. These people are just attacking each other. It's vile. I don't know if you remember Ben Scar's, I don't know if ex-girlfriend, girlfriend, but great photographer, had a girlfriend. She entered the space, put in one of her pieces, didn't put in the description that it was AI or some bullshit. Bat Soup bid on it. Kath bid on it. A few other people bid on it. And I'm talking 12 hours later, the amount of canceling and attacks and toxic, just, everybody, just so much drama. And it's like everyone's coming at this poor girl, your art is shit. You should have said this was AI. Then they're coming after Bat Soup. How dare you bid on this? This is,
Yeah,
what was it? Not gatekeeping, but it was like cabal. Yeah, this is cabal because, all the cabals bidding on it because they know they're friends with Ben Scar's girlfriend. And it was just mind blowing to watch these people just go at it in private chats and just attack. And well, I'm gonna message them and find out if it's like their responsibility. It was just like, this is insane, dude. You guys just attacked a 19-year-old girl who might probably like she's gonna kill herself because of this shit. Like the amount of, I know I would have at that age, like the amount of canceling you guys fucking, I mean, you guys were ruthless. And you're all a bunch of adults, grown ass men, just
oh,
going after this little girl because she put on her work. I get it. She's an adult. She's over 18. But dude, the shit I did at 19, I would not do at 40. We make mistakes. And what, she didn't disclose that it was AI art? Just toxic as fuck, dude.
it's a challenge how people make such huge assumptions of people's character based on decisions like that. But
Do you
that's it's like a trait that's come into humanity almost a little bit. Probably with social media, maybe like the dynamic of just being stuck in your head,
yeah,
thinking
and
you're entitled to make an opinion of someone that you haven't spoken to.
that mob mentality too.
Yeah.
And it's like if I was judged by the worst decisions I've ever made, phew, you know,
Oh,
all
I've
done
seen,
some dumb shit.
I've, I don't even want to talk about it, but I've been in for you. You remember there was
I
um,
remember.
like even that
Yeah.
was outrageous.
Insanity. Insanity, bro. Absolute insanity. But that's the type of shit where it's just like, why would anyone stick around? And that's what I think like really destroyed a lot of these people in this community is like a lot of these people who represent it and are art dealers or art curators or gallerists. A lot of these people that represent it came
That
in
was
because they literally have fucking nothing else to do with their
a
lives.
horrible experience, John.
Horrible, man. Like
Like
they just have nothing better to do
if
with
I had a
themselves.
done what was like said that, sweet, would have copped it on the chin. It
Yeah,
was like a multi-platform colluded attack. To experience that and I'd just been in a hospital in Thailand watching my partner's mum die. Like that's like you said, like that Ben Scar's girlfriend. Like at the end of the day, if someone like Batsu chooses to support someone, it's his money.
it's his money. Shut the fuck up and let him buy whatever he wants.
I'm never gonna jump in and do that because the person that chooses to support someone can do whatever that they want.
Yeah, but you know what you will do? You'll scare that buyer off, and they won't buy anything ever again because why would they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I would look at it. Why would I ever come back? Do you remember that guy, Cactix, who was buying everyone's art back in the
Yeah.
day?
Yep. And he set up his own site?
Gone. The amount of shit that guy took, people showed up at his house. Yeah. He DM'd me and told me people showed up at his house. I heard stories of just the craziest shit. And it's like, you know what? Just disappeared. And we're talking buckets of ETH, guys. Like
Yeah.
thousands of ETH. Like
That was
he
just
wanted to buy
before I
shit.
arrived, and he'd set up that. Yeah, and like you said,
Yep.
it's just the witch hunt. Like,
Yep. The cancel mob just came for him, man. Why didn't you buy my art? Oh, you only support these people. Oh, you're racist. It's just like, bro, he came here with buckets of ETH. You guys just immediately scared him off. So it's like there's just until this space dramatically matures and artists understand that because like I've been doing this for 20 years. I understand there are dry spells. There are moments where there's no liquidity. There are times when you're going to go sometimes 2, 3, even 5 years without selling art. That is part of this game. You chose to sail the seas of consequences. The last thing you're going to be able to do is blame the fucking waves. But they do. They do. Fight the waves. And I think that's why this space is just so
it's
dead
just
and such a
I
joke.
think that's one of the things that needs, like, and I was chatting with, not about that specific, but, like, I know, like, because I see it a lot, like, builders building, like, I think
Mhm.
for where we're at, like, everyone needs to look at leading and being a professional and not being a degenerate. Like, just be a professional. If you are a professional, then the things that drive your decisions are completely different if you're a degenerate, if you call yourself a degenerate. Yeah.
Right?
So
Stop gambling.
I think that could be one area that we could slowly work on. That
Yeah, and I think Node is doing a really good job. Like I think a lot of these, like like they're one of the first like big museums that's like taken on full digital art. I don't think there's any other museum that's done complete full digital art. I think like we're stepping in the right direction. I just think like you said, we came from a peak of crazy degenerate gambling. And we're starting, I think, to transition into an artist narrative. I mean, you do see a lot of big artists, X Copy, the Skulls, from Sam,
yeah,
Ben, Ben
stress.
Strauss, who just sold out his pendulum,
Yeah,
like,
really cool.
yeah, and beautiful collection, by the way, really, really fucking innovative. I love what he did with that. But like that's consistently, that's consistently happening. So I do believe in like the future of digital art. I just think like the community in a sense has, yeah, like you said, it has got they were entitled, they they were toxic, and I think it has to sort itself out organically, and eventually, maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, we get to a place where not everybody's hyper gambling on a cycle and actually just wants to buy art.
The one thing I do think is that all the leaders are here already. Like,
Interesting.
like, and I'm seeing a bit of a shift from the senior members, that even from the senior artists, the senior, like, Bat and his, like, there are a bunch of people that do have integrity, I think. I don't know them super well, so I can only make an outsider's judgment, but
Yeah,
I do feel like the leaders are here. It's like it just that coming together.
I
And
think Bat Soup has really good intentions. I really do. I just there's not a lot like him. He's one of a fucking trillion, man. Like I just talked to Tad Smith yesterday. He was a CEO of Sotheby's. He very, very bullish on, NFTs. He just got back from the Node Foundation. I think there's guys like Kim, guys like Batsu. I think there's a lot of leaders, that are gonna move things forward. There's a lot of guys that I've talked to. There's a list of them, man, but it's far and few between. That's the hard part, is that it's very limited. And a lot of these guys set up to look like they're trying to benefit the community when they're really just here to create some type of Ponzi to make more money. So
do you
it's hard to distinguish the difference.
do you think if there was some sustained time where, because like even with the artists, I feel like there's some leaders here, whether they are allowed to be themselves anyway. Um, Ack, um, like all the guys that are bring out stuff, people. Um, no, I went. He put one of my artworks in his. I flew to the US and went to one of his shows and met him. Like
People's a good dude, man.
he and his wife was so nice, man.
I've
Like,
heard nothing but good things every
yeah.
time someone meets him.
And like I said, yeah, it'll take some time, but as long as those crew keep releasing art and keep working on growing their craft, I feel like they have the bigger opportunity to say. Even Kath right now, she's over in Dubai. She's got a like they make the connections that she had the Sultan in there at one point. It looked like so. You never know when someone's going to create an opportunity. And this was the thing where I linked this back to bodyboarding in the way that like, so I went out of being a world number one ranked athlete straight into one of the top ocean elite sports photographers. I pretty much went right up to that top level really quickly. But there was no value in understanding what happens when you give opportunity to someone. And I think that can happen as like if we've got the right artists getting their success, same as what Beeple's done. He hasn't left.
Mhm.
He's used the opportunities when he can to give others opportunities while also creating opportunities for himself. And I think if we can mature a little bit and um, like like me, I need to do better. If we all look at just being a professional for an extended period of time, then we can potentially end up having a space that looks attractive to some of those bigger name people who have way more money than we can even think of.
I couldn't agree more, man. If we stick together as a community and work together and not cancel each other and work, to boost each other up and like what it was in the early days of, the Clubhouse app where everyone was just talking each other up and trying to sell art. And even though we were only selling it to each other, there was something magical about that. And I think like that aspect, once that comes back, and I think a major um catalyst for that will be this crash. I think crypto has to crash. I
Yeah.
think we have to weed a lot of like bad players, but not only that, people have to get exhausted. There have to be people that leave. But what I think is most important is that when there's not a whole lot of value in the sense of money, that's when like the real players hang out, and like that's when shit gets really built. I think is when there's no actual like money to be made. I mean, that's what Clubhouse was. That's what when the photography market, started, um, there wasn't one. There was nobody, there was no collectors, nobody was buying it. And then it eventually transitioned into a market, but it started with us buying each other's art, talking each other up, talking about it, opening up rooms, opening up spaces. There was no NFT photography galleries. When I went to the first NFT NYC, I got, 15 minutes on the stage with JN, and there was like, an audience of maybe like 100 people. Nobody gave a shit about photography. Nobody had any interest. And so, like, in my mind, the only thing I could think of was like, well, we need a gallery. We need an exhibit. And I just, promised everyone, I was like, when we come back here, like, we got to have a gallery. We got to do this. So, put together sponsors, got us our first, like, gallery. And it was like at Art Basel. And then we did the NFT NYC and we just kept doing them. And like, that was not necessarily onboarding people, but it showed that we were there. It showed that we weren't leaving, and it showed that we were there not even when there wasn't money to be made, we were there because we wanted to build. And I think like that's the most important aspect is like when I first did the first Art Basel one in 2021, there was 40 artists, maybe 45. And I know I left like a handful of people out, but that was really like only the photographers that were actually in the space during that time. There just wasn't a lot of people. There was maybe 100 at the very most. And then a year later, I had 500 people sign up. And then another year later, I had 2,000 people sign up. So it was like, it just kept growing, dude. And it just kept like, this is huge. So I think it's just people building these things, showing up, showing that we're never going anywhere, that we're going to continue to mint art regardless of if we can sell it. And maybe that narrative pushes through, and maybe one day we start making money again. But either way, at least we're creating a legacy on the blockchain and we're doing something that no one else was doing.
That's it. Sorry to point. That looked really weird on the camera.
I love it,
Um,
man.
that's man, you just touched on everything that um I feel like I've been disobediently doing from the very beginning is simply just building out my legacy of digital art onto the blockchain. And
Yeah,
this
it's
that no,
immutable.
nowhere else that you can find my work, just the blockchain.
That's badass.
That's and I view it as like, I go get hit by a bus tomorrow, that's gonna stay. I can't see the Ethereum blockchain getting shut down anytime soon.
Nah, that's there
Uh,
for a long time.
yeah, so this is how I'm viewing everything going forward. It's how I'm working. I'm not. I need to do a lot better with my marketing. I understand, but that's I'm actually focused more on going and creating, um, and just building my legacy out so that I'm looking I don't I'm looking 5 years down the track to be at a point where I can be like, you can't argue with my body of work.
I think that's important, man. I think at some point you have to uh accept that not only you're a full-time artist and this is what you do for a living, but you have an indistinguishable body of work that you can hold up and be proud of. And I think like
It's felt like I've been doing the wrong thing at times, that's all, because, like, I
it,
wasn't doing these big hyped up things. I'm going and risking my life in the ocean. I'm just like, the last
I
thing I
think
wanna do is come and go on social media after that.
no, and I think like it's funny, like marketing and all that. Me and I was talking to Tad the other day, and we were talking about the value of art. Where does the value inherently live in art? Because at some point, AI will be proficient enough that it will be making 90% of the art that's in the world, if it's not already at that point. And at some point, the top 10 art pieces will most likely be five of them will be AI art because it will be that quick. And it's like the same with like jujitsu or anything, or even Muay Thai. You'll learn it in 5 minutes because you'll be able to just fucking program it into your brain, and all of a sudden you know Muay Thai. Like that's where we will be eventually. And if that's the case,
Bit of
then where's the
Neuralink.
value? You know? But where's the value if I can learn photography in 5 minutes and there's no struggle when I can just teleport to the top of Mount Everest and shoot my photo? Where's the value live? And we were discussing this, and I think what like we ultimately concluded is like the value is kind of like in like art is a manifestation of an artist's intention. So therefore, the value is the artist's intention. What did they intend to create? Like look at like Claire Silver's work or anybody where it's prompted, but that's the intent. Is that what comes through of that prompt is their intention? I think like what you're kind of like saying is this like hype drops, marketing, all these things. It's like the value doesn't necessarily live in the marketing, doesn't necessarily live in the hype. At some point, the value just is literally the raw intention of the artist. And I think that kind of pushes, I mean, not kind of, it does. It pushes through your work,
Because
especially when you've only minted on the blockchain.
but I always had people telling me I didn't have scarcity because some of the bodies of work that I would put out, and I mean, a lot of that came from architecture because that's just a process of thinking, and we used to study things. So I've gone and studied places, things, the ocean, and
Scarcity, bro.
yeah,
Scarcity is only
'cause
investor's mentality.
I do understand, like, in the dynamic of the game in which I chose to play, could have done better.
I mean, you could tell that to people too who did an art piece every single day. We're in the only industry in the world where if we do too much work, we get shit on.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think of that, but we're like in one of the only industries, an artist, where it's like if you do too much, if you work too hard, fuck you.
Much.
Release art, man.
Yeah.
Scarcity is
Last 2 years, I've just been, like, shutting that out, just like,
yeah, scarcity is a pipe dream for investors who want to make money off of your art. And honestly, man, like my art's not an investment. It will never be an investment. You will never make money off my art. And I hope that, to God, maybe one day it's worth money, but that's not my intention here. My intention is to make art that people like and they just wanna hang on their wall. That's it, man. If you're buying it to make money, buying it for the wrong reason.
Yep. But still, yeah, I lamented because I just struggled even. But I actually did see, I think it was by Christie's or one of those big art houses. One of the curators talked about what's required for a market for an artist's work. And one of the things that they said was like minimum 500 to 700 works before you can have a market exist for your work, according to them.
Let's let's go. So,
Next
start
copy's got
minting.
14,000 artworks.
Scarcity is not
But
important.
he's got yeah, but that's the other thing is like he has demand for his, so like that's where I just the creation of demand, like how I create demand, how I connect, what I do to other people, to for people who don't even live near the ocean to understand what it's like to swim in and around these absolutely psychotic waves where I'm just scared out of my mind. Like I don't do that well enough. I don't
I
think.
hear what you're saying, like, yeah, there needs to be a necessary demand in order, like, a market for someone to, continue to mint their work, but I think that's also, like, artist intention. Is your intent to sell art? Is your intent to share your art? Is your intent to just leave a legacy? What are you here to do, right? And I'm sure it's all 3, as most say, it's like, we all wanna make money, we all wanna leave a legacy, and we all wanna put our art in the world to share. But, it's what is more important to you, right? And for me, like, it's always been what's more important for me is just kind of like getting my art out there, just having it out there and putting it out into the world. And maybe someone will buy it. Cause like I got into photography never to, it was never to sell it. It was never to make money. It was just, I really liked photography and I loved Ansel Adams' work and wanted to do landscapes, man. I couldn't afford his shit. So make my own.
I actually just put up a couple of shots from Yosemite.
Oh, love that.
I went there in 2018. I had no idea what I was rocking into.
It's a beautiful place. Man. Beautiful. It's just, it's Ansel Adams' playground.
And then I saw his work in the visitor center and I was like, oh. And then one of the days there was a wet plate photography truck.
Oh,
Do you know
what?
what that is?
No, no idea.
So it was the truck was the camera and it's called wet plate photography where, I don't know how, I think it's a, you're, they're talking about you're shooting from a couple of kilometers away and you
Mm.
can zoom into a blade of grass and it's in detail. It's, let me,
Whoa, this up while you're doing that too. Wet plate photography? Looking it up too.
oh, did that just take me away?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's on metal and it's wet. It's,
Oh shit. I'm looking at it right now. This is interesting.
super, so they were there and I was just like, "What are you guys doing?" And they just, like, ran me through what they were doing, like, it was just amazing, and they were parked at that tunnel view bit at the entrance where you're up the top.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I got to and that was just, like, so that was 2013 when I was there, so that was still fairly, that wasn't digital, hadn't gone bonkers yet. Yeah, that was really cool, but apparently, yeah, you can create incredibly detailed imagery from that's even in way, way in the distance.
Yeah, Yosemite changed me, man. Like it really did. I think shooting there, I was probably like 24, maybe 25 when I first shot in Yosemite, 26, somewhere around there. And just changed me, man. It was middle of fall. Everything was like changing. Colors were changing. You had like those oranges and yellows, and just I was shooting outside of El Capitan, and just yeah, just chilling, man. Like it wasn't with a group or anything. It was just me and my girlfriend at the time. We rented a motorhome and like
Yeah. I
drove
had
up there.
just drove up there in a rented little van with Nemo on the side of it. Um,
Uh,
I met a couple of professional climbers there though, and so they were both from England. They were super nice. They took me skydiving. I went and
oh
one
shit!
of one of them jumped off the top of El Capitan with a wingsuit and landed next to me in
What?
the field. Yeah, and then just
Oh,
popped. He
no way!
actually was one of the first British dudes to free solo El Cap.
That's pretty crazy, man. Free soloing El Cap, climbing El Cap with ropes is insane.
Actually, he just did it solo. I think it might have been under a rope. Nah,
Doesn't
if you do it,
matter.
if you
Rope, no rope, you're insane to do El Capitan. It's a scary climb.
still going.
I wouldn't do it. Not that I'm a climber, but God, that's scary.
Sorry, Lisa, you can come out. It's fine. Um, yeah, I actually climbed that first pitch of the nose.
Wait, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Uh, I climbed the first pitch of El Cap. The
You
first,
did?
yeah.
Holy
My brother
shit.
had done a bit of rock climbing. I'd done little bits and pieces of rock climbing because my brother was pretty into it for a while.
Yeah, me too, inside of a gym. Never, never like that. That's crazy.
But I never got into it as hard as they did. But yeah, that place, I just was the scale of everything. It was like
It's enormous. It's the biggest rock in the world. It's not a mountain, it's a rock.
I hadn't. I just kind of went up there. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go here, and then
Yeah,
it wasn't. It was not pre-planned. I just wasn't really enjoying the LA where I was staying.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, just I spent 10 days in there just hiking, and that was crazy.
Yeah, it's bitching, man.
And yeah, those boys took me skydiving one of the days, which was
You ever
outrageous.
been skydiving before that?
No,
Love it, right?
yeah,
It's fun.
yeah, I did like 3 jumps that day.
Yeah, I did my first jump at 18.
Crazy.
It's fun.
I never jump by myself though. I've done 5 now, but they're always, uh,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
only done tandem.
yeah, same.
Still thrilling. It's, if anyone out there listening, if you're ever depressed or feeling low or overwhelmed, jump out of a plane with a parachute, obviously. Incredible feeling. It will definitely reset everything.
Yeah.
Good shit, man. Anything else you're working on? Anything else you want to promote
Uh,
or talk about?
no, I'm just working on huzzas, I guess, and well, I've got it's like everything I'm working on just seems to be just art. So I've got the huzzas collection. I've got one called Earth, which is just because I keep having all these like some of my landscape shots. I just keep having special moments too because I always try to have my camera with me so I can just keep having it in my hands um and then I in the same way that I was studying so huzzas everything probably from architecture is everything's like a study to me and so I'm studying huzzas which is kind of evolved into this study of the craziest waves on earth at their most ultimate. Um,
That's cool.
some of these waves are just so remote, so extreme. But again, I don't convey how much effort goes into doing it. Some of them I'll drive 12 hours and then go out off on the jet ski, like no reception, no anything goes wrong, you are stuffed.
That's
That's
insane.
basically what we do, and that's what we were doing before I got here. I
So
was
you, so let me get this straight, because like in my eyes, like I always pictured like wave photographers kind of like being able to just chill on the shore and wait for the break. Explain
nothing.
what you go through.
There's nothing in. Oh, there is a couple of drone images in the collection, but
Yeah.
everything's from within the ocean,
All right. So
basically.
describe to me the process of finding where you're going to go for a wave, making sure the current or the everything adds up so you can get to that wave, the drive, all that shit. Tell me everything.
In the same way that you would study the stock charts, we
Yeah.
study the weather charts. You're looking for the combination of wind, swell period, swell direction, and tide. So you're trying to understand, and this is like surfing. You've just got to learn this stuff over time. You've got to go and get it wrong. You've got to see a set of, see a forecast, go to the spot, see what it actually comes on that day, and then put that into the memory bank so that when the
So you're a
next
scientist a little bit. Like you got to be a meteorologist a little.
study weather. So
Okay.
that's probably the first thing. a lot of these spots have been opened up to me because I was able to get a jet ski and a four drive car, which has only really just come in the last couple of years. So here in Western Australia, we cop some of the biggest swells on earth, and in the very very south, there's some really remote, really spectacular waves that just some of them are just on their own level. Um, Only Tahiti, which I hope to go to, that's probably my only plan that I hope to go to is that level of swell energy to draw off because that maybe they're just super deep down. So it's yeah. First we study, then typically you just got to pull the trigger and do it. It's what we need to strike mission it almost. You've just got to be waiting. A lot of the south of Australia, just the weather is really unpredictable. It's always changing. So you're studying the forecast all the way up until the last moment and then choosing to go. And then typically, yeah, some of the places, some of them you just can't even swim. Either the current's too psychotic or you're an idiot because there are great white sharks everywhere. Like the shark issue here is a big thing. Even where I live at home here, there's been multiple fatalities. And when you go into the south, this you don't you're really stupid at some of the spots if you're getting into the water. Some of them, like one of the craziest waves on the planet, has a seal colony like right there. So if you
That's
don't
so
swim,
crazy.
I know because people used to do the tagging of at that location. They just tagged because they were passing through there. So like, let's see what's here. In 20 minutes, they had 3 huge sharks just at.
I would run.
Yeah. So we're trying to make sure that we're prepared, that if we're going super remote, that the jet ski is good, everything, you've got a safety plan, you got people who know where you are, what you're doing, even though you're going to be remote, you're checking in. I usually check in and out of each expedition uh, that we leave shore on.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, you just almost, it feels like the lead up to them, for me, I'm not sure what other people are like, but it feels like you're going into battle. Just the head noise of trying to go and get yourself, because you're dealing with the biggest swells on the planet for these things to break. You need big energy. So you know that you're going out into an ocean that you can't make a mistake. You're not allowed. Anything goes wrong, you're fucked.
Scary as hell, man. I didn't
But
know it was that extreme.
that's just is kind of what it is here. That's what we were doing because a lot of these waves, I've surfed them already, and I've already had the crap beaten out of me by some of remember that one that I showed you with the rainbow?
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot. Yeah.
Jumped off the top of one of them.
Ooh, that's crazy.
You'll laugh your head off. I'll send it to you when we're done here. I've got a sequence of it.
How tall is that?
Probably about 20-foot face, in
Nope.
between.
Nope.
Probably about
No
30, 40
thanks.
foot.
You Aussies are crazy, bro.
But that's again out the front where I live, there's a wave that's actually, so Huzzers is actually the wave that I began surfing. It's a little learner break in Gracetown here, and I started tagging all these waves that I go to as Huzzers so that I wouldn't reveal their location. That's where Huzzers has gone from, because it just became this running joke for a decade that I would just and people would actually think that this little learner wave out the front is this psychotic.
That's so funny.
But even here, you just get belted. The ocean beats the crap out of you. So you start to get accustomed to it and you realize what you can endure and survive. So then it became a challenge to go, well, I can survive this. Can I survive that?
The ocean scares the living hell out of me. It really does.
It's just I guess it's that thing of what you get comfortable with. And when you start and you slowly move your way towards, it's not like I started when I was a kid and I got thrown into something gigantic and that, you know, if you were put into those environments, then you would get scared off of it. But you've slowly challenged yourself over time to ride bigger and bigger waves. And that was just a progression. And once everyone else was doing it, you were like, well, that person can. I need to see whether I can.
That's crazy.
Uh, I pretty I still remember that the bad one because I ended up with the cover of our bodyboard magazine, which was really, really cool. It's a huge honor. Um, and I only had 2 or 3 different surfs out there, but there was one where I just got to the bottom of the wave and my board stopped and the whole ocean just went, and I just went
Whoa.
backwards and then jumped. I did a full cartwheel as I was going down and then, oh man, just utter destruction. I remember all the sound, the noise, I think I kicked myself in the head at one point.
That's
Just
so
zero
scary.
control of your body, and you have to rely on everything that you've done in your life because you've got no choice. You have to.
That's scary as hell.
But if you were in that position, in that moment, you probably wouldn't be scared. You'd
Yeah,
be
adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah, you'd just be dealing with you have to deal with this. You are in it. And it's your own fault because you're the one who said, "Yep, I'm going."
Yeah, you're the one who said I'm getting in that ocean. That's why I stay away from it. It's funny, I'll go on all these trips and I'll go to like some of the most beautiful places in the world, but I won't step foot in that ocean. I won't go near it. I think I've watched too many movies about tidal waves taking out. I watched that movie in that movie, about the Thailand tsunami that took out Thailand.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, I just I don't mess with the ocean. Ocean scares me. I respect the hell out of what you do.
Well, the ocean scares the crap out of me too.
That's
Like
why you have to do it.
everything I do scared. Even
Why do you
since
do
I
it?
was a kid. Don't know, eh? It's like a desire, like, not sure where this came from. It's like a desire to just keep challenging myself to see what I can do, if I can do it. It's like that. That's pretty much that. Just, can I do this?
Yeah, it's the human spirit, right? Like you got to grow each day, you got to push yourself, but that is definitely an extreme form. It's like what those guys do when they climb buildings, into the top and
Yeah,
take
Alex.
photos. It's like you guys are crazy.
Oh, yeah. The That stuff gives me because there's a couple of the crew that I met in the NFT scene that do that.
It's
I
crazy.
get vertigo watching those things. Like,
Dude, my palms sweat.
yep, same.
I can't do it. I can't even imagine. It's like I get like the whole, like I'm
So I couldn't do that.
yeah, you could, yeah, I couldn't either. But your ocean shit, I would rather, honestly, I think I'd rather climb a building than get in the ocean. At least there's no sharks on top of that building.
To be fair, some of the stuff we do is on a jet ski, and if I
I
took
I
you
don't
out on it,
care. What if
nah,
I fall off?
if
What if
I
I fall off? What if I capsize?
you won't. I'll be driving you.
Oh, I'd still be so scared,
If you
dude.
had
And
to
what if
do
a
it on
shark
your yeah, see, that's where I find is that because since I got the jet ski, it was the responsibility is on me. If I'm on by myself, generally fine, but if I've got someone on my own, I feel there's just a lot of responsibility to make sure that nothing goes wrong. So there is a fair bit of stress that comes with all these trips, knowing how far you have to travel to get to the waves and that.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of one of my mates came and it was like he was along for a holiday, just sitting on the back, and I was just melting. Just it was one of the hardest trips I've ever done, just because of where we went to, what the conditions were.
Yeah, the stress.
Yeah, but
I
for you, if you would 100% be able to come and sit on the back of a jet ski and watch them.
I've been on jet skis before, but in a lake, like not in the ocean, I don't think. Like, and I've been on a kayak in the ocean before. I think you know what it is just like I grew up on ATVs, and,
Yeah, yeah.
rode all over, I did like Baja races and all that shit. But it's not what scares me is like falling off. It's what scares me is I don't know what's below. You know, like when you fall off an ATV, you fall into the sand, sure, you're gonna break some bones or whatever, but you know what's going to happen.
Man.
I have zero clue what's gonna happen when I dip my foot in that ocean. And what's crazy is like what we don't know everything that's in the ocean. We got some alien life forms down there that literally spend all day eating each other with their faces. That is their fucking job, to
Yep.
survive by eating each other with their faces all
Yes.
day long. I I have no interest in going into that place, in that world, into that alien environment with them, no matter how much Kevlar gear I have on me, man.
See, I think that's one of the things where I've, like, I don't know how, like, I don't think that the ocean photography has been valued, um, super well within the
Savage.
ecosystem, but that's up to the person who's the artist to convey how hard it is to do everything. So that's
Yeah.
why I said I know where I'm falling down. Um,
I think it's time for some drone footage and some behind the scenes footage on how crazy this gets. You know what you do? You just blur it all out.
yeah, but,
Yeah, that's a hard one.
that's the other thing too is, like, we go do everything in silence. We don't, and a lot of these places have been kept secret because there'll be someone else who wants to go out there and just blow it out, and there are people that do the right thing and in terms of just keeping it low key and just enjoying it for the right reasons instead of trying to over capitalize on something for their own good, if that makes a sense.
No, it makes more sense than ever, man. That's what I call a legacy artist. It was early days, you know, of like getting into photography, and people are always like question, well, if you're not making any money, are you really a photographer? And it's like, dude, do I enjoy what I do? Do I love what I do? Am I doing it because I'm not making any money? Then I guess I'm a photographer, man. Like, it's just a matter of what you value the most. And if you value, you know, silence, the moments that you take in, I think that's more important to some people. And I think that's what makes a legacy artist, man. It's like Van Gogh. How many prints did he sell in his life? And would anybody ever have the audacity to say that guy wasn't an artist? There's something beautiful about art that just is created to be created. And I don't know, man. I respect what you do. It's pretty cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah. What are your plans going forwards?
Dude, I'm obsessed with this AI stuff. I'm really into this vibe coding stuff right now. I'm shooting less and less just right now because I'm really focused on being around my daughter and just being around my family right now. I missed out on a lot of years traveling, and I missed out on a lot of good years with my daughter because I was too busy trying to make a name for myself or trying to focus on making money. And now I'm home, man, and I want to find ways to just create from home that I can be with her until she's 18. I want to make sure that she grows up with me around.
Yeah,
And then
sweet.
we'll go from there. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the family time, man.
Yeah.
It's a been a long road to get to the point where I feel content, and I'm
All that
enjoying that.
stuff seems really intriguing to me personally, like being able to quickly create ideas in your head with like what the opportunity is right currently with that
It's
side of things.
unreal. I'm working on 5 different apps right now. I'm working on a protocol on base. I'm working on so much shit, and I can't find a direction because it's just such an exciting time to be able to create. For the first time in my life, I can do everything that in my head on a computer. AI video, AI music. I have an AI musician. I've made a shitload of stuff on Spotify that I just make music now, and I make music videos and that I'm putting on YouTube. I just don't
Very cool. Yeah, I
yet.
might if I wanted to dip my toes in that area, possible, or what in terms
Oh,
of
it's
time requirements?
you could spend 10 minutes a day or spend every hour on it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
I would recommend if you're trying to vibe code, just recommend diving into Claude. If you're fucking with AI video, VO3 is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just a good time to be creating, and it's fun because it's limitless. This technology is utterly limitless. I cannot emphasize that enough, man. It
One
is limitless.
What a cool idea I think that would work here, even just locally. and just to see whether I can create, because I love helping. I'm teaching. My father was a principal, mum teacher. The mentoring side of things has always been really big for me, especially being a high level athlete and having younger people coming up behind you,
Yeah.
to see whether I could create a platform where we could do everything um, under that platform, and it track everything for you, keeps a
Bro, it would take
record
you
of.
minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna
It would
try it.
take you minutes, man. So I would write two things down. Google AI Studio. I would start with Google AI Studio. A lot of people don't use that,
Yeah.
and they really should, because I feel like that was my entry into vibe coding about a year ago, I think, maybe 6 months ago. I don't know. But I got into Google AI Studio. Um, I think it's free to use. It was free. I don't know if it is anymore, but you literally just type in a prompt, dude, and it will create the entire thing for you. And it's bare bones, and it's not an app that's technically usable, and it is like just a website, but it gives you an idea of what you can create and how to start prompting, and just kind of like gives you where you want to go with it. You fuck around with that for an hour, then go into Claude and start doing Claude coding. And dude, you'll have a working app within like probably 5 or 6 hours. You're a smart dude. You'll have it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I highly recommend getting into vibe coding right now and
I actually
pivoting everything.
had a conversation with an artist on Twitter, and he said get Claude, but buy the higher pro level.
You could
Pres-
start with a starter. I started with the $20 one. Now I'm in the max, the $200 one. But I started with the $20 one. Like I started with just simple, just to get the basics. Because for what you're talking about, you might not even need the max, man. Like you might need something. That sounds like something that could be coded in about an hour or two. Like go on to Claude and be like, "This is my idea. How long would it take you to code this? And do I need Claude code? Like, what do I need?" Like, literally talk to it like it's your friend. Be
okay.
like, yeah, just like anything that you'd be like, well, I need to ask my friend how to do this. Just ask Claude. Claude will literally explain it to you like and just be like, I've never done this before. Like, be just straight up with it. Be like, I've never coded. Uh, I don't really fully understand what the fuck I'm doing.
Yep.
Help me.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
will.
dude.
I'll have
Dude,
a crack. I'll send it to you.
yeah, I can't wait to see what you put together, man. It's gonna change the world, dude. It's gonna, and now that they did it, they just added vibe coding to Xcode, so people can just code out apps really quickly.
Yeah,
Sh-
that's
Dude,
why
shit's
it's
gonna move quick.
never been a better time to be at home and put your energy to something like this.
Yeah, dude, you can come up with $1 billion idea and you just could vibe code it in an hour. So it's just like, dude, now's never a better time to just start creating shit.
Sweet.
Cool, man. Well, let's do this again. I'm really glad we did this. It was Eric at Manifold who reached out to me and told me I should interview you
Oh, cool.
and have like a talk with you. He's
Yeah,
like, you got to talk to Kim.
they're all so nice, the crew at Manifold, they've been amazing. Oh, because
Love those guys.
everything since they started, I've been on Manifold since 2020. Would they start in 2023?
I was 21. I don't know though,
Oh, so
dude.
maybe, yeah, maybe I was.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
2000. Yeah,
look.
21.
Well, I think it was, yeah, it's either 2022 or so. Most of my, majority of my, artworks are on my own smart contract on Manifold.
Yeah, dude. I love what they did for artists. Every time I've had dinner with Eric, he's always like, dude, you got to talk to Kim. You gotta have a
Please tell them
podcast with him.
thank you, and yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
all that they do.
yeah, they're good people, dude.
Yeah,
Well, I enjoyed this, man. It was good learning. I learned a shitload
me too.
wave photography, and it was fun, man. I'm really glad we did this.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Anytime, man. We'll do this again. I'm gonna click record off, and we're just gonna sit here for a minute to make sure everything uploads.
Sweet.
All right.